It seems like today everybody's got a superfood juice drink that they're saying is wonderful and does amazing things. But what about the original superfood juice, V8 juice? Is V8 juice better than some of the other more popular things you've probably been seeing advertised on TV and elsewhere? So in this quick video, I want to give you my 5 reasons why I think V8 juice is healthy and something you probably want to add to your shopping cart list. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it and see what we can figure out. Number 1, V8 juice does count as a vegetable. I know that's hard to believe for somebody watching this video, but if we go to the USDA Choose myplate.gov website, we see on the very first page any vegetable or 100% vegetable juice counts as a vegetable. Well, that's V8 juice. V8 juice is made of 8 vegetables, so it does count. So if you're trying to increase your intake of vegetables, drinking V8 juice is definitely something you might want to take a look at. All right, so that's number 1. Let's talk about number 2. V8 juice has a bunch of different antioxidants and plant chemicals. If you go to the Campbell's website, you'll see, well, they'll actually say that a serving of V8 juice has 5 times as much lycopene as a tomato. Makes sense. V8 juice is made predominantly from tomatoes, so that does seem logical to me. I know that because it comes from vegetables, it's made with vegetables, made from vegetables actually, that there's a variety of other phytonutrients, plant nutrients, that probably have a variety of effects in the body. So I know that's going to be true as well. If we look at the nutrition facts label of the low sodium V8 I have in my refrigerator, you see that it's high in vitamin A and it's also really high in vitamin C. Again, 2 key important antioxidant nutrients which do a lot of different things in the body. It's also almost high in potassium, which is a fact I don't think gets enough attention these days. Potassium is a very, very important nutrient, which we'll talk about in a moment. And again, how do I know it's high? Because how do I, and high and almost high? Well, you can do this too. All you got to do when you look at these daily values, percentages you see on nutrition labels, you just got to remember, when you see 5% or less, it's low in that nutrient. When you see 20% or more, it's high. Those are the FDA guidelines for daily values. So you now know how to analyze the daily values of the foods you eat. All right, so enough about the nutrition facts. Fun with this product. Oh, one more thing: no added sugars. All the sugar you see in V8 juice is naturally occurring. Okay, so let's move on to point number 3. Why I think V8 juice is healthy. There is evidence that vegetable juice can raise nitric oxide levels. Nitric oxide is a compound that can help our blood pressure and our blood vessels stay healthy. And this was an investigation from 2017, health benefit of vegetable fruit juice-based diet, role of the microbiome, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. Essentially, they looked at 20 people and they did this 3-day vegetable fruit juice cleanse, and then they said go back and eat your normal diet the way you normally eat. And they noted that on day 4 of the investigation, their blood nitric oxide levels increased almost 245%. That's quite impressive, actually. And also the other benefit they noticed here was that the free radical load in the body, the oxidative stress, if you will, decreased by over 30%. Oxidative stress, free radical damage being the same thing, and it makes sense it would go down because vegetable juice, fruit juice, contains a variety of different antioxidants which most likely neutralize this. This study did not involve V8 juice, but another type of vegetable and fruit juice. So again, it's likely that you'd see similar effects in other quality fruit and vegetable juices as well. Here is a study on point number 4 why I think V8 juice is healthy, and this is actually an investigation of V8 juice. There is some evidence that may help lower blood pressure. So a study comes out in 2010, the use of a commercial vegetable juice as practical means to increase vegetable intake, a randomized controlled trial. Yeah, they're basically saying drink vegetable juice, V8 juice, it'll help increase your intake of vegetables. We covered that in point number 1. But what I also noticed with this was in this investigation, they gave people either no juice for 3 months, or said drink 1 serving of V8 juice a day or 2 servings of V8 juice a day. And they also told them to follow the DASH diet. The DASH diet stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. It's a clinically proven way to reduce blood pressure. Here's the thing with this study. These people in the investigation, they really did not increase their vegetable intake, unfortunately. But maybe fortunately, because they didn't eat a whole lot of vegetables, we know the results that they saw in this study were more due to the V8 juice itself. Okay, so what did they find? People who drank the V8 juice had a reduction in blood pressure, and it was especially evident in people who started out as having pre-hypertension. We call that term today elevated blood pressure. Essentially, your blood pressure is elevated, and you're statistically more likely to get higher blood pressure in the future. And so drinking V8 juice was associated with a lowered blood pressure. Quite interesting. And you might say, well, did they use low sodium V8 juice? No, they did not. They actually used the regular high sodium V8 juice, which has 480 milligrams per serving. And, I think that's an important point because V8 juice sometimes take a hit because people say, oh, it's got a lot of salt. In this particular study, they were using that higher salt content, V8 version, and it still reduced blood pressure. How is that? Well, one of the unsung heroes of V8 juice, in my opinion, is it's got a lot of potassium. Okay, it's almost technically high in potassium, and that may play a role in getting rid of some of the sodium in the body and balancing that out. Potassium may also play a role in raising nitric oxide levels, which can also lower blood pressure as well. And so those are two possible mechanisms why the blood pressure went down as well. And another possible way may have been altering of the microbiome. We do know that the alteration of the bacteria in our gut may play a role in blood pressure control as well. And since we're on the topic of microbiome, this brings us to point number 5, why I think V8 juice and all vegetable juices are healthy. And that is, there is some now evidence that there may be an alteration of the microbiome. If we come back to that study I mentioned a little bit ago on the benefits of this vegetable fruit juice, yes, it had been shown to increase nitric oxide levels in the blood by almost 245%. But what they also noticed was that there was an alteration of the bacteria inside these individuals when they took stool samples, fecal samples of these individuals. And they saw that there was a reduction in a bacteria called Firmicutes and an increase in another bacteria called Bacteroides. Now, why is this important? Well, Bacteroides is interesting because it may play a role possibly in weight loss. There is some evidence that higher Bacteroides, I ruined that word, seems to be seen more in people who are skinnier, and you see more of the Firmicutes in people who tend to be a little more overweight. So possibly altering these two gut bacteria populations may be one of the reasons why you sometimes see people who maybe want to, they eat what they want and they never gain weight, and other people look at food and, they gain weight. I'm obviously exaggerating here, but there does appear to be a change in the microbiome of people of different weights, and this may be one reason for that. And the other reason I think this is very interesting is one of the things that people usually slam V8 juice on, and all juices in particular, is that they don't have a lot of fiber. And fiber is a prebiotic. Prebiotics, fiber, are the things that probiotic bacteria, our gut microbiome, like to eat. And so how in the world did the alteration of the microbiome occur if there's not a lot of fiber in the vegetable juice? Well, it basically tells us that life is more complicated than just fiber, and it's possible that the bacteria may be consuming other nutrients in the tomato juice and the vegetable juice, which may be responsible for some of these effects. Personally, I'd like to see it replicated with a larger study, but I'm intrigued by the fact that a vegetable juice product alters the microbiome, and I'm curious to see what future evidence, future research would show with this. So honestly, guys, I think this is something you should be adding to your grocery list and drinking on a regular basis. I think V8 juice is definitely healthy. I drink it myself, and I recommend you do as well. So hopefully this top 5 list has helped change your opinion on V8 juice. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll answer them myself. Until next time, guys, I'm Joe Cannon. Take care. Bye-bye.